What is a dirty little secret about an industry that you have worked in that people outside the industry really should know? Nobody who actually sorts mail gives a shit about your package. The word fragile doesn't stop them from throwing it 20 feet into a metal container. It's really fun to pay $145 extra for hazmat shipping and see this box with explosive in big letters on the side show up at your front door with a big dent in the corner. My line once had brown lines start coming down our belts. Boxes covered in dark brown substance. No one wanted to touch the boxes. It was so bad that one of the big bosses was running from line to line telling everyone that it's just chocolate icing from a spilled Dunkin' Donuts tub. They never come down unless it is horrible, so that was pretty fucking funny. Great night all around. Locksmith here. We can get into any lock, door within 30 seconds. All the posturing and bringing out an impressive toolkit and hammer drill is just showmanship to prolong the call out. 30 seconds flat. I'll never forget when my neighbor in London locked herself out. We waited for a locksmith to come over. He literally opened the car door, looked at the neighbor's front door from a distance for about 2 seconds, then pulled out a long bent rod, walked to the door, stuck it through the letterbox, maneuvered it around for a couple of seconds, and the door was open. He undid the bolt from the inside. 100 quid, 15 seconds of work. But you don't pay for the 15 seconds, you pay for the decade of practice required to do the job in 15 seconds. A very popular local bagel shop bakery I worked at advertised all of our baked goods were homemade, dozens of muffins, Danish, cinnamon rolls etc., and they were not. They all came from Cisco, frozen on sheets. Many customers would rave about the baked goods saying, they were the best they've had. God bless them. I mean, it is impressive how good quality mass-produced food can be nowadays. My friend works for an olive oil company. He tells me they'll sell their brand of olive oil to restaurants and charge a fee for the restaurant to put their own label on the bottle. My uncle knew a guy who ran a deli. People would eat there and then have coffee and some cake they made there. He wanted people to stop lingering and make room for new paying customers, so he raised the price of the cake. No change. If anything, more people started getting cake. They assumed the higher price meant higher quality. My wife and I used to sell freshly baked scones. If you asked, we would take you into the kitchen and you could see them being baked. Our competitor in the town spread the rumor that we bought frozen scones, which ruined our reputation and we finally shut down. Meanwhile, our competitor was using frozen scones. If you're ever buying bulk gravel, sand or crushed stone from a local pit quarry that has scales to weigh the amount of product you're getting fucked because you're paying for water. Most of these pits quarries spray the living fuck out of their stockpiles before during operation to make the material heavier in the truck. Never buy by the ton, always buy aggregate by the cubic yard. It's a measure of volume, not weight. Source: I own a rock crushing business, multiple quarries, and I charge by the cubic yard to not screw the public. Sneaky, I always thought this was done to reduce dust. Most likely it is to reduce dust, but then they found out the added profit motive afterwards. Engineering geologist that later went into construction management here. This is not correct information. Sand and rock are bought by the cubic yard, not weight, typically in 10-yard dump trucks or 20-yard trailer haulers. Typically sand and rock piles are watered with sprinklers, and most trucks, especially during the summertime, also pass under an elevated water pipe that drenches loads right before leaving to deliver their loads. The main reason why is because wet sand and aggregate compact better to become stronger load-bearing masses. In fact, when placing road base, berms or building foundation material, the material should be pre-tested in a geotechnical lab to discover the ideal moisture amount to achieve to its maximum density and strength. On job sites, compaction density and moisture are the two variables measured by a tech using a nuke gauge, and the material must be within a specified range for both before another layer, lift, can be placed and compacted. If the material delivered on site is too dry, water must be added using a water truck or a metered hose off a fire hydrant and worked into the material and tested until it meets spec. If it's too wet because it's raining, then work doesn't resume until it dries out and nuke tests confirm it meets spec. There is a lot of money spent every year that decides where specific items are placed on grocery store shelves. If you're at a grocery store that's part of a chain, and you look at a shelf and there's an item that's approximately at eye level, I guarantee you that the company that makes that item paid a lot of money to put them there. There's lots of weird psychological tricks that go on in terms of how stores are laid out. It's no coincidence candy is at a lower eye level too. Candy, sugary cereals with mascots, the more expensive toys, etc., all at child height. The milk and toilet paper are always in the back because those are what people often make a quick run to the store for. By putting it in the back, it forces the customer to walk past all sorts of tempting end caps. The chances of the person going in for one thing and coming out with a bunch is increased. People joke about doing this all the time at Target, but it's not just a joke. Target actually paid a lot of money to get customers to spend a lot of money. All by designing things just so. Edit, I learned this in the one and only marketing class I took. It was really interesting, while also being kinda horrible.